Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back to Black and Blurred.
Hi.
That's Darren. It's me. I'm Brandon. Guys, we're going to jump right into it. I feel like we just had a mini episode with our guest. You guys are going to enjoy this episode because there are some things that we have talked about in previous episodes that I think you're going to get a full dose of in this episode, where we're just taking every piece of frustration of some of the things that we have talked about and then wrapped up into you in a job that you just stopped.
I forgot about it all. Yeah. I'm like, wait, I stopped.
We'll bring that in. Yeah. We'll not talk about it. We'll bring on our guest, and then you can update her on why the heck you did it, and then why you're not doing it anymore. But guys, we want to welcome April Chapman, who is a blogger, a podcaster. You are a business owner. Your podcast is Stand to Truth podcast, right?
Yeah, it's the Stand to the Truth podcast on YouTube.
Yes. Well, April, welcome to Black and Blurred.
Hey, you guys, how are you? Thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited.
Of course. I love your backdrop. I don't even know. I wonder what that entire room looks like. But, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. I'm just like, man, how did you do that? How did you get that to look like that?
It's my happy place. When we found this house and I walked into this room, I was like, yeah, this is the house. I don't care what the rest of the house has going on. Mm-hmm. This room, so it came with that built in, and obviously, so my husband and I, we own a furniture store. Mm-hmm. So the piece over here that you see, this is actually a dresser. And then I just kind of filled in little pieces and lighting along the way. But my husband actually helped me create that whole environment, the desk. All of this is stuff that I sell.
Oh, man. Well, look, tell people a little bit about yourself. We know that you're a business owner. Where are you from? Where do you and your husband live? And how did you guys get into owning that business?
Absolutely. So my name is April Chapman. I am originally from Bronx, New York. So I'm a inner city girl living in a southern world. We currently live right outside of Atlanta, east of Atlanta, in a suburb. And we are small business owners. We're in the home furnishing industry, and we've been doing that for about 10 years. Kind of looked up into that industry during the last recession. I was pregnant with twin girls. It was my third pregnancy. So we had like a 2-for-1 special. Wow. And I was just increasingly frustrated with, the 9-to-5 rat race hustle. And in a moment of frustration, I was like, you have got to do something. I was like, I don't care if we sell baskets, whatever it is that you do, I am on board 100%. And so we started out actually as a logistics service, providing delivery service, and then eventually transitioned into the retail space. So we've been doing that for 10 years, and it has its joys, and it has lots of sorrows that I'm sure we'll get into tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I think I first came across you. Is that right? I want to say I first came across you listening to Monique and Kevin's podcast. As a matter of fact, Monique says hi. I told her you were going to be on today. And you were talking about I guess in the war that is conservatism versus progressivism or leftism. Yeah. Typically we as Black Americans have to do some splaining when we aren't obviously leftists or progressives, right? Because you supposed to be thinking like massa, and you're not.
Yes, absolutely.
So my Lord, down by the river.
Put him in A flat, y'all.
And so I wonder what the connection to your and your husband's being a business owner has to do with the fact that you are conservative-minded Americans.
Well, the thing is, we did not start out that way. So our journey is the grace of God. You can see his hand through the whole thing, but I actually used to be a leftist. I married my husband as a leftist. He was a conservative, but he would never have labeled himself that. He always has held to conservative values. But like I said, I was a leftist. And during the course of our marriage, my worldview started to change. And then when the Lord saved me, then it was like, oh, by default, I can't even be this. anymore. And so that change impacted how we did business. Before, before as a leftist, I would have wholeheartedly bought into the identity, I'm a pro black and I'm a black owned business and you need to support me because I'm black and woe is me and we don't have funding because we're black. Like it would have been that. However, what I realized, we started the business and I kind of was thinking that way. And then what changed for us is when I went to my first industry trade show and I was exposed to the whole international world of home furnishings where people descend upon High Point, North Carolina from every corner of the world to meet new vendors. And there's all this networking going on. And I'm talking with Syrians. I'm talking with white folks. I'm talking with Africans. I'm talking with all these different ethnic groups. And I started noticing how they were moving in the world and with each other and how the free flow of information was not inhibited because of my ethnicity. There were people who did not look like me who just sitting across, a cocktail and some finger food, business is happening. Information, valuable information that people paid thousands of dollars for was just being handed to me simply because I was in that industry. And when we got home, we had a wake-up call. We were like, no, we have got to abandon this. Woe is me. We're not further along because there's this oppressor. It wasn't that. It was our mindset and the mentality and the worldview. And once that part of your mind gets opened, then you start to see, it's like you start to see the world completely different. And the way you interact with your customers begin to change. And now before when someone would come into our store and say, are you a black owned business? We would be so proud and want to have this grandiose discussion about that. Now, when they ask, it's different. It's like,
explain that a little bit. So what would even be behind the grandiose response of being a black owned business?
Just idolatry, just wanting to be proud for the sake of being proud. Like you could have put your key in the door 3 days ago and haven't even turned $1 in profit yet. But it's like, it's the virtue signal of it all. Just to be like, I'm black and I own a business. Like, it's like, okay, well, you've just accomplished something. These dermal features of yours do not empower or enable you to do anything better than someone else. And so I think it just comes from, it's a false ethnic pride. And the reason why I say a false ethnic pride, because we'll want to check the box when we think it's going to benefit us. But when it's time to actually have to do the hard work and compete, it's like, oh, well, I'm a black owned business, so I can't, I'm behind. I don't have what everybody else has. See, if I had so it leads into covetousness, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes 100% sense. I think from at least 2016 up till now is the most I've heard inside of churches where they condone covetousness. I think the social justice movement is rooted in lacking contentment and covetousness.
Facts.
And you talked about when the hard work comes. I feel like, y'all give clarity on this, that when it comes down to that mentality, there's this idealization that happens when it comes to something like owning a business or whatever, where the goal is to be able to say you did it rather than to do something well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
So like you said, you could just put your key in the door 3 days ago, but now you got the posts, you got the parades coming out because you now own a business and you can say that you own a business, and that was the goal. But when it comes down to owning a successful one,
that's where the hard work begins. That sustainability, that scalability, that is the difficult part. That's where you're really tested to be like, oh, maybe I'm not cut out for this, because you're like, this is hard. Like, these people are difficult. You know, taxes are kicking my butt. You know, regulations are just in the way. There's so many things that you're like, and when I say in the way, I'm not talking about demands in the way, but there are just certain, I hate using this term, structural things, but they're not just Black people experiencing them. When I talk with other ethnic groups that are in business, not necessarily the same industry, we all have the same complaint. We hate going down to the county to do anything. We're like, they're going to give, if you need a permit for something, they're going to give you a hard time, and they're going to give you the runaround, and they're going to stress you out. And it's just the bane of your existence. But what I find is that, like you said, so many people that I've encountered, they want to own the business, but they are unwilling to do the blood sacrifice, the sweat, the tears. They literally want it handed to them. Right. They just kind of want you, or they want it fast. Like, it needs to be right now. It's like you came in with the idea yesterday and they want the baby born tomorrow.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Let's put a pin in that real quick. We got to stay here because that puts to words our frustrations, what we've experienced. So there's a mall, Arundel Mall, is what, 30 minutes from Baltimore? Right. Yeah, about 30 minutes from Baltimore. It's a casino there, Maryland
It's
Live
near,
Casino.
I would say, I guess a good landmark would be the airport.
I want to say
BWI
probably
airport.
a decade ago, maybe a little bit more than 10 years ago. Ravens were either, our football team was either recently Super Bowl champs or just very close to being Super Bowl champs. And in that mall, there was a booth of our greatest rival, somebody selling Pittsburgh Steelers paraphernalia. And he's a Black guy, you know, and you encountered this guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we both encountered him at separate times. And, you know, you walk in, it's like, hey, man, we got some Steelers stuff. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. Take a guess what he said to me next. Come on, man. It's a Black-owned business. It's Black-owned business.
I hate that.
It's Black-owned business, man. You ain't going to support, you're not going to support. I'm like, bro, that doesn't make any sense. You're in Baltimore, Pittsburgh Steelers stuff. This stuff bigger than your skin, boy. You know where you are.
Right. So that frustrates me and annoys me. And then it also frustrates and annoys me when they ask, and it's not like they're asking because it really means it's not going to trigger any sort of measurable actionable steps from them. They just want to know so that they can be like, you know, so they can just congratulate you, but it doesn't really translate into dollars. I'll give you a prime example. Today, my husband called me so frustrated. I'm so sick of y'all. I was like, oh Lord, what we do now? And he's like, this customer came in. Okay, I'm not going to give names so that I can protect people's identity.
All right.
But there's a very large, popular furniture store that this customer had just come from with a picture and a price of what they wanted. And I happen to be an authorized dealer of said furniture manufacturer. So we're like, yeah, okay. You know, my husband's like, I carry that. And so it was like a sectional and an ottoman. And it was $9.99. Now, I don't know the last time y'all purchased furniture, but, you know, $9.99 is not a lot of money.
Not a lot of money
for a sectional and an ottoman. So, like, we're like, yo, that's a good deal because we sell that joint for $1,300. Like, that's our price. Now, we didn't manufacture it. We retail it and we don't mark it up. But sometimes there might be a particular SKU that the manufacturer is trying to get rid of. So they'll mark it down. $9.99. So we were being gracious. We're like, you know, all right, if you really want it, we will match that price. Essentially, we were giving the ottoman away. We wouldn't have made any money on the ottoman, but just so that in good faith, like, okay, well, you did come from all the way over there and you're here. We sell it. We can get it for you. We'll match it. That wasn't good enough.
Oh no.
Nah, you can't go no lower. Dude, I just gave you a free ottoman.
Yeah.
You just left there. You already know how much that one is. Then, you know, you're dealing with your people.
Yeah.
We're matching you. We're matching you. He ain't want to buy it.
Yeah.
That's what we got to deal with.
Yeah.
They want it for free. They just want you to give it away. Forget the fact you got to feed your family, keep a roof over your head.
Well, because you have an allegiance, April. And that allegiance is to people who share the same skin color. Do they have an allegiance to you? No.
No.
But you have an allegiance to them, and you better not go against it. I'm curious.
As soon as she said doesn't translate the dollar, I knew exactly what she meant.
What do you mean? What do you mean? So give background first on what you are as a business owner.
Oh, okay. I own a dog grooming business. So, I mean, you're in retail, I'm in service. So I'm sure there's, the same kind of situation.
Help you.
But I've gotten to experience the best of both worlds, because I do business in Baltimore where the clientele looks more like us.
Okay.
And then I have clientele in Silver Spring.
That good old condescending money, but that's money though.
Where the clientele doesn't look like me.
Right.
And I've noticed a difference. I've experienced exactly what you're saying, and I live in Silver Spring. So typically if I'm grooming, out of the goodness of my heart, I'm driving to Baltimore because I don't want to leave them hanging. It's about a 15-minute drive to go care for customers that may not find a groomer that they like. They're used to me. I used to live in Baltimore. I move away.
Okay.
Like, oh no. So I come back to groom their dogs. They don't want to pay what it costs. Ultimately,
it's like, why can't they get a discount? Why can't your service just be run of the mill, cheap for the low?
Yeah, they wanted almost. I sent like a blast email to my clients at the beginning of the year, with a new pricing breakdown of what my prices would be. And,
how dare you?
Why they were going up?
How dare you?
Right. And all the Baltimore clients, almost all of them would message me individually. For me too, because they think they're
you
all
lying.
No, they're all me too.
Like, am I included in that number?
Me too. But then my customers in Silver Spring, oh wow, I'm so happy for you. Good for you.
Different.
Good for you. And I remember you guys, you were talking about I've been to the same like grooming expos. I used to think that I was I still am a minority, a black male in sort of a cosmetology business.
Right.
But going to a groom expo in Hershey Park, Pennsylvania, you see so many different types of people.
Right.
And I've made friends, male friends that live in California, all over the place that are groomers. But we've all noticed the same thing. And so there's a specific clientele group that we all appreciate. That's usually Jewish.
Wow.
In the service industry, a Jewish man, a Jewish customer will, if they're using you, so is everyone in their community because they're loyal to one another.
Right.
If they get good service, they're going to tell their neighbor, hey, Miss Yolman, whatever. I want you to right. I want you to have good service too. Use my friend Darren.
Yeah.
Here's my entire condominium. Black people. You wasn't available, so I went down the street and they messed my dog up. So can you fix it for free? That's.
You don't even want to know. I wonder if they do this to you while, you tell them how much it is. Then they stand right in front of you and call your competitor and be like, how much you charge to, and you be like, oh, I'm right here. I'm right here.
They'll ask me, yeah. Do you know how much Petco charges?
Yeah.
I can get you the number.
I ain't gonna say, oh, you friendly. Right. I don't do business with them. I don't know.
Yeah.
You could Google.
There is this in that mentality. I think that's what we've been seeing. It's led to so much frustration. I can imagine for you guys. I'm not a business owner. Although, there is an aspect of this,
Oh, no.
There is an aspect of this conversation I am familiar with. And our father is in service as well. He's a piano technician. We got friends. We got our good friend Sweep, who's a graphic designer. And when it comes down to doing jobs and getting quotes and things like that, and people who have to then pay after getting invoices, there's a specific category that
You gotta
ends up
chase these
not,
folks down.
that don't want to pay.
Yeah.
You gotta
Now,
get that deposit up front, or you gotta pay in full up front.
That first category is churches,
Oh,
and there's
they're
a
the worst.
qualifier to that category. Ask me what type of churches.
Be specific. Yes.
You understand? You understand? Let's just say it's the churches that's in there for the long haul.
Yeah.
From 9 to 4 p.m. Them type church. And so and it's like, what is that about?
Yeah.
Where this mentality says that I demand for you to conform to my desire because of your skin color.
Yeah.
But then lifting ourselves outside of that conversation, when you have people whose voices and podcasts like yours, April, like ours, like so many others in the country that don't fit the narrative because we care about the development and the flourishing of Black Americans in this country, we're called to be people not for the people.
Yeah.
Right. Right. When I would argue we're the ones that actually are trying to go out our way to create something of value that they can enjoy and use and be proud of. But you never, and then if you do bend over backwards, you don't get congratulated for that. You don't. Like, you go, it's always the one that you go out your way to be extra about. Those are the most difficult. And you just be like, you know what? I'm not doing it anymore. I made concessions. I've given you the sun, the moon, the mountains. I've given you everything, and it still wasn't enough. I can't win. Like, I have a customer right now that she can't buy from us no more. No.
Got fired, huh?
Well, we're just, every transaction, it's a thing.
Yeah.
When it doesn't need to be one. And it's easier on my sanity and my peace of mind if I say, we don't know how to serve you. It's not you, it's us. You should probably go to our competitor. Maybe they can better meet your expectations, because we don't know what to do.
Yeah,
we can't do it anymore.
Retail is different.
Retail's rough. Retail's rough.
It's different. Darren, what were you about to say? You forgot.
No, wait. So yeah. Did I tell you about the time I got like berated by? I was in a Rundle, the same mall. No, this is outside of my business.
Oh, okay.
More along the Black-owned business theme, but I was in a Rundle Mills mall. I got twice in one day. So there was a guy just at a kiosk in the middle of the mall. You know, you're walking by and they grab you up, try to get you to buy something. And I'm looking at his kiosk and I'm like, this doesn't look too good. You know what I mean? Like, what's on here? And so he hands me like this book. He's like, hey, brother, go ahead, read this. And I'm looking at it and it's poetry. I'm like, oh. And I'm thinking he's passing out for free because it's poetry. And so I'm looking at it. He said, you want to help Black-owned business? I said, and he said, we got to sit together. We got to get Trump out of office, man. I said, you assumed so much just now. You assumed.
Wait a minute. So putting Black-owned, like sprinkling the black on top, does it make the poetry better now that I know that?
I told him, I said, look, man, you assume so much. You assumed I like poetry. You assumed I want to pay for it. You know what I mean? And you assumed
I didn't like Donald Trump.
Yeah, you assumed I hate Donald Trump. Just because I'll be somewhat look-alike.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I said, this is not a good business. It's not a good idea.
You told him that?
Yeah. I said, how much have you made today? How many sales? Can't be any. Yeah. You ever think, I'm gonna go to the mall and buy some poetry?
Who does that? Well, he may have gotten some sympathy sales. Like, some people just feel bad. Like, let me just.
I'll give you $10. I'm not buying that.
Right. I'm like, you can keep the book. I've done that before. I'll be like, please, no, keep it. I don't want
this. Like, your poem. This is your pride and joy. You keep it. You know what I mean? You wrote these. But and then it's a short walk down the way. It's the guys with the shoe cleaning, right? They got the kiosk and they want to clean your tennis shoes. So if you wear tennis shoes to the mall, they stopping you about, let me clean one of your shoes. They make one of
Just
your shoes
one?
clean. Now you got to buy the thing to clean the other one, right? So I tell them, I said, no, I'm okay. You don't want your shoes clean? No. I mean, we a Black-owned business.
Yeah.
I said, I still don't want my shoes clean.
No, I really don't.
I said, and I told him the same thing. I said, look, why did you say you're a Black-owned business? Why did you say that?
Right.
If that is your marketing strategy in Arundel Mills, you've siphoned off like 90% of your business.
Yeah.
You have you're in Arundel Mills. If you don't know, Arundel Mills is a very white area.
Oh, I'm familiar with Maryland, DC, Northern Virginia.
Very, white area. And culturally, they don't care about their shoes.
No.
So if you want a successful shoe cleaning business, you need to come
around the way
to the hood.
Yeah.
Not here. And you don't use that as a marketing strategy because all the white people are going to go, not for me.
Yeah.
Right. So that was one of the points that I can't remember if I said it on Monique's show or not, but I realized if you have a business and you happen to be ethnically Black, just focus on creating a good business that services the needs of the community. Because think about it, if the shoe was on the other foot and a white person who owned the business was like, well, we're white owned.
Right. Yep.
You would be like, okay, I'm offended, but we never think that it's offensive for us to just shout, splat it all on the front, Black-owned business.
Yeah, right. We don't care. They don't care because it's untouchable, like we were talking about beginning. But there's this stigma that starts very early. I mean, we were blessed to have two parents in our home and who cared about our education. But we still went to public school in West Baltimore City.
Right.
And even then, excellence has a stigma attached to it.
Wow.
So if you get good grades, then for some reason you're doing something wrong. You're not one of us type of thing, because that's not Black. If you enunciate with your words, you're not speaking Black. What is it about this excellence stigma attached to Black Americans that says that anything that actually does promote flourishing is not meant to be a part of you? And that then seems to translate to people who go into business, who are like, why are you starting a business in the first place? If your business is nothing but a gigantic proverbial hat that you're sitting down holding out for people to throw money into.
Yeah.
Right.
You talked about people, wanting to, I forget the way you talked about it, but then, in 2 days wanting to have a baby after it's, they want
the right now business.
Right. They don't want to they want a sprint as opposed to the marathon.
Yeah. What was that marathon like for you and your husband? I mean, did you guys start with, what is that process? How did you start or get into this place that you're in now?
We literally were a startup in every sense of the word. We both had jobs, we were just regular run-of-the-mill working class people. And one day we were just driving on the interstate. Remember, I said we got into the retail business, but we started on the logistics side. We just happened to see somebody with a mattress strapped to their car. And my husband was like, isn't there someone they could have called to pick that up? And we were like, I was like, I don't think so. I mean, if it was junk, you could call 1-800-GOT-JUNK, but there was no branded household name of a company that you knew that if you purchased something and didn't have a way to get it home, you can call them, they pick it up and bring it to you. Right. And so we put that idea into a business model. And I just pulled on my skills of, knowing how to build a website and, knowing how to build applications and systems and processes to make the face of the business look a lot bigger than what it was. So like you could go online and book appointments with us before that was like a thing. We had an IVR system, and you would have thought we had a team of 100 folks back there, but it was just me. It was one. We had a call queue of 10, but you just had to wait till we got to you, But it was a marathon in the sense that we knew that for every, the money that's coming in, we're gonna have to reinvest it back into the business to improve and make it better. And so we never lived as if we were these big shot business owners and, had money. No, we actually were living worse than when we were working for ourselves on purpose. Right. Because we were like, we can't have a lot of debt because it's unpredictable. You don't know what sales are going to be like from month to month. So we had to lessen our lifestyle, decrease. And this is when now we have 4 kids, 4 and under at this time.
Wow.
And so we're trying to figure out and navigate, how to meal plan. And we downsized. It was just 1 vehicle. And I mean, now we end up, but that in less than 6 months, we were able to go from a trailer to a box truck because we were like, okay, the money that's coming in, we got to save up because we need to get, better equipment. And we just incrementally improved the business little by little, as opposed to trying to just go out there, with the big bang, spending all this money on a concept that you don't even know if the market even likes it and wants it. And it just so happened that God was gracious to us. And we actually grew too fast. We grew too fast and then failed miserably because within our first year, we were able to get a contract with a logistics company in a whole nother state that Googled us and found us and was like, oh, do y'all have 26-foot box trucks? And we were like, I was like, well, how many do you need? We didn't have any at all. We just had a little 14-foot box truck, but I'm like, I'll allow it. How many do you need? And he's like, oh, well, we need 6 to service the Aaron's distribution center, picking up there and then delivering to all the Aaron stores. I was like, okay, let me call you back. I get on the phone. I'm calling Enterprise. I'm like, okay, I need an account. And I need 6 trucks. Mind you, I have no personnel to drive these trucks. So I'm just trying to be resourceful. And I go to a temp agency that did not specialize in drivers. It was just a disaster. Wow. Long story short, the first day, one of the drivers didn't have his glasses, couldn't see, and drove a 26-foot Enterprise box truck underneath an overpass and just peeled the whole top of the truck back.
My
first day of the contract.
Oh my goodness.
He calls me and says, it's been a little accident. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, where are you? He tells me where he is. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I know exactly where he is. I was like, okay, I'll be right there. I showed up. You guys, have y'all seen The Color Purple?
Yeah. he was color
y'all
purple.
Know when Shug is about to leave and she get on that bus to Memphis and Celie just drop and hit the floor. That was me. That was me. I saw the truck. I was like, oh, Jesus. My knees gave way. And Robert was like, oh gosh, somebody get her. She on the floor. I was like, it's over. I was like, it is over. We're out of business. I was like, there's no way. And so now I'm trying to keep tabs on the other 5 trucks. And I'm looking at this dude like, how did you think you could get under that? He was like, well, I couldn't really see. And I was like,
oh man.
So I told that story because most people, they would have been like, yes, we're out of business. Just close up shop. We had to get through it. It was hard. Most marriages do not sustain and survive, owning
a business
like that. But it brought us closer together because my husband knew. I was like, listen, where am I going? Where am I going? Where are you going? We will figure it out. And so imagine a new business. Now you have your first insurance claim. So now that's a whole nother challenge because this insurance company is like, you haven't even been with us a year. Looks like we're going to have to non-renew you. I'm like, and I knew that was going to happen because I come from the insurance industry. So there are these challenges that happen that regardless of what type of ethnic person you are, you have to learn how to weather those challenges. You have to learn how to pivot. You need to learn how to go through the hard times. And most people are not built for this entrepreneurial life.
Yeah.
They don't want the self-sacrifice. What they want is the Instagram timeline.
Oh,
They want
boy.
the scroll of the look that I'm on the beach and I'm driving the fast car and I'm never working. When people who know me post working for my, working in corporate America, working for myself, April does not have free time. I have free moments. That's it. I just got a moment. What you need? I can't be on the phone talking with you all day. We didn't take vacations. We didn't start taking vacations till probably 3 years ago.
Wow.
Because you have a staff to manage and you got to keep your eye on them. And that's a whole nother challenge. I don't even want to talk about that. That'll send you into an early grave, just dealing with employment issues and no one loving your business like you do and caring for it. Go ahead, bro.
Look, I think that's you.
What about that?
Because you just give April an update on why on earth you were working at Papa John's.
Oh my goodness.
And
I forgot again. You say we're going to talk about
it? You did. But
that was a whole 3 weeks ago.
She hit the nail on the head. You can just share with her.
So about a month ago, I started working for Papa John's, and it's because 2 reasons: more money. But I think the stronger reason was I got so tired of seeing bad customer service.
Really?
Like I hate bad customer service.
Me too.
So I'm like, this job's easy. And how often would I say that?
Yeah,
I would kill this. Are you kidding me? Sir, would you like some extra pepperoncinis? That's easy. That's easy. I got to talk to people. That's what I do already. All I have to do is talk to people for 2 minutes, take an order, and give them a pizza, and they walk away.
That's it.
Sir, we have 2 extra garlic butters in there for you. Okay, enjoy your day.
Listen, if that pizza shows up to my house with 2 extra garlic butters, I'm requesting next time. I want to talk to him.
Right.
Who was that?
Right. I had a guy, I delivered a pizza one time. A guy said, "Wow, you seem really happy. Be careful." But yeah,
that's what he said.
Right, that's what he said to me. But yeah, so I'm like, this is easy. I'm gonna kill this. And I think that so many businesses have lost sight of what customer service is. And especially in places like fast food places like that, Papa John's, there's a Gen Z, they have no idea how to communicate. I mean, communication is like their kryptonite. And so
trust me, they come in my store wanting to buy stuff, and it takes me 30 minutes just to figure out what they need.
Yeah.
Because they can't communicate basic.
Right.
They don't understand like basic concepts, how the world works. Like you find yourself being their parent,
right?
Like trying to just walk them through,
right?
And I just be like, "Who raised you?"
Yeah, I felt like an undercover boss, So I'm 34, and I felt old in there. I mean, I was looking. There's like this sheet with everyone's birthday, and I'm saying like 96, 2003,
2003,
12. I'm like, they work here. Like what?
2012?
No, it can't be 2012. My kids were born in 2012.
My math's dumb.
Now, probably 2007. You probably saw some 7s and some 5s.
Yeah, I definitely. So, like, one of my managers was 22 years old. Right.
Dang.
And so I get in there, and I guess, long story short, my work ethic made me quit.
Yeah, it wasn't appreciated.
And so
really,
I was a delivery driver. That's what I was hired to do, delivery. But I noticed that there was a lot more to do because there was
nobody else wanted to do it.
Right. And I'm like, man, you can make pizza. And it was all easy. Anybody could do it in their sleep.
Easy. Right. So you're like, so y'all just gonna leave this just
So there's like customers walking in, and I hate being idle. You know what I mean? I'm a delivery driver. Customers walk in, they don't know I'm just a driver. They see a person in a uniform, they expect to be helped. So I'm like,
so you help them.
I don't want to be the guy who doesn't know what to do. So I asked a lot of questions. I learned everything. It took a day because the job is so easy. I learned everything there is to know about pizza. I even practiced making dough at home. And so I get to work.
Papa John's changed your life.
Yeah, I went to work and I'm making pizza. I'm helping people, and they're like, they're on their phones. Sitting back. They're on their phones.
And you're making pizza.
And I'm making pizza, getting it out the oven. Cheese, bow, root beer, bow. I'm killing it. What
Right.
ends up happening is, because I had good work ethic, it was abused and not appreciated. And so the workers there, were kind of like, all right, cool. He gonna do all the work. And we had managers who aren't American, so there was a language barrier. Like
you don't know what
immigrants.
Habib's saying.
Yeah, first generation immigrants. And so it's like, man, I just can't even communicate with you, literally through text message, in person. Yeah, it was rough. And he would hire his community.
Right. So now you don't know what nobody's saying.
Right. They all speaking in Spanish around me, and and so it was difficult because they just disincentivized hard work. I got corrected. They told me I'm not supposed to make the dough because I'm a driver.
But the pizza needed to be made.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, this isn't really worth it, I guess. Yeah. And I ended up losing so much time, and that's important to me right now.
Right.
I have a wife, 4 children, spending 15 hours a week with that kind of,
nonsense,
and getting paid maybe $2 worth of money.
Yeah.
That's,
right. Well, don't you get to keep your tips?
Yeah. But,
but
the trade-off wasn't the same. So, yeah, I mean, there's really a lot. I don't want to get, there's a lot that goes into it.
But I wanted you to share that because, you went I mean, we do the same thing. We look at bad service, and we still expect people to have pride in doing a job well. That good pride, right. To be proud about being able to do a job well. Our father always used to say, if it's worth doing, then it's worth doing well. Because if you're going to do it and not do it well, that makes you stupid. Why are you wasting your time?
Right.
Just don't do it. But if it's worth doing, then do it well. I used to work at Marshall's in high school, worst place in the world. And
is it?
Oh.
They look like they have so much fun.
The people who come get furniture from y'all, they get dressed at Marshall's.
Oh, so they want a discount on everything. It's got a little tear.
I mean, you pull up. Can you imagine being 17 years old? It's a Saturday morning, and your friends have plans for that Saturday morning, but not you. You're going to work at Marshall's, and you're up at 6 a.m. to show up to the store at 7 just to see a line of people's aunts and grandmothers ready to cut you out. I'm like, how y'all up this early at Marshall's?
Why are you waiting to get in so early?
Waiting to get in, it's ridiculous. But yeah, they would always want a discount. It's like, man, you're in the discount store. You know what I mean?
This is the discount.
This is the discount. I don't get it. But these people that Darren's working with, they rolling weed in the kitchen, and they just don't appreciate it. And you know why they don't care?
Say rolling weed in the kitchen?
Oh yeah, you didn't share that part.
Yeah, I got pictures. I got. I'm telling, man. Yeah. I'm telling on y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling. This is unacceptable.
Yeah, but they don't have any pride in that job. Why? Because it's not theirs. Mm-hmm. It's not theirs. Now, you know what the deeper issue is, and the more heartbreaking truth is that when it comes down to just community, when you look at our major cities, and I want you to talk about a little bit. So I don't forget, I want you to talk a little bit about how maybe policies and things like that have affected you guys as business owners and the way you think about policies and public policy and things like that. But when it comes down to like the projects or Black communities in America or apartment communities and things like that, and the way our cities look, it's the same mentality. Like, it's not mine.
Right.
So why do I have to really care for it?
Right.
Or why do I have to take care of it? Should I even care of upkeep? And there's no pride in being able to have something that looks good at all.
Right.
Because it's not theirs.
Yeah.
Right. I would say we kind of experienced that a little bit, but more so to piggyback on what you said about the policies that impact your business, like this whole minimum wage argument.
Oh boy.
It is a horrible policy because when they started having that discussion at the time, I think at the height of our business, we had 10 people on staff, and they started smelling themselves like a basic cashier And I felt that we paid well because the hourly wage was low, but the commission was so high. Some of these salespeople were making upwards to like $5,000 a month.
Wow.
Just in a commission check. So I'm like, why are you whining about this $10 an hour?
Yeah.
I just cut you a check for $5,000 for one pay period.
Right.
They could not understand the pay for performance model.
Yeah.
Meaning, I'm like, you can make as much money. You're limited to the amount of money you make based on your own effort.
Right.
I'm not stopping you from going to that apartment complex around the corner and drumming up business for yourself. I've given you all of the tools. You have business cards. You want some flyers? I will give you some flyers. But this hourly wage is what it is, because I don't make money just because you showed up that day. I make money when you go and you, in a consultative way, let our customers know that we're here to serve them and that we want to help create the space in their home that they are proud of. And then when they walk in, they're like, this is home. If you manage to translate the products we sell and offer it to them at a price that they can afford, you're winning and I'm winning. But the moment you start demanding to me that you need $16 an hour, I'm letting you go.
Yeah.
And essentially, that's what started to happen.
And during that time, not to cut you off, don't forget what you were saying, but they, that type of mentality, it became politicized. It was politicized because we're the targeted group, right? The Black Americans, the minorities, we're the targeted group. I remember, we played a clip of Milton Friedman saying that that's probably the single most racist policy that's ever been passed and most destructive to Black Americans, because the mindset behind it is that we will always be the worker bee.
Right.
Never the owner. But when you're the owner, you know that that's a terrible policy that's going to put you out. And if that minimum wage is as high as it is, then even if you are the worker bee, you could never be the owner.
Right. Because when would you ever acquire the skills necessary to learn how to even be the owner?
Right.
And so what I found is that a lot of these minimum wage laws and these policies, what they do is they force business owners to make decisions to say, oh, okay, well, we'll eliminate that role. What I did was I implemented an online, a live chat widget. I'm like, okay, well, I don't need this many people in the store. I could be here at the house and my husband's at the store, and my live chat widget on my website, I can initiate sales conversations with people digitally who I can actually heat map see on the website, and I can initiate that sales conversation right there. I don't need you anymore. Or we implemented a digital kiosk. We have 2 digital kiosks in our store. So, obviously I don't have 100,000 square foot showroom, but I have an endless aisle on this digital device that I can show you 400,000 SKUs. What you want a section of what color you want it in. Okay. We and right there, it takes the place. You can apply for financing on it, and you can shop. You can add it to the cart, hit send, it pings the point of sale register, and you can go and check out.
Wow.
Yikes.
I mean, it's my warehouse guy. The only thing it doesn't do is, some of the products, it can drop ship to your house, but most of them, we still have to deliver it. Outside of delivering it, I don't need a large sales or staff team anymore. And so, in this type of economy, when consumer spending is down, the first to go are certain jobs. And if people understood that policies do impact your way of life, but you out here, you demanding reparations and you're demanding a $20 minimum wage, what's going to happen? Prices are going to go up, and companies are going to withdraw from certain markets because they're like, it's unprofitable for us to be there.
Yeah, right.
And that decimates the whole community.
Right. These types of deserts that are in cities in America where Black people don't have access to this. It's like, well, you demanded a circumstance that prevents them from being able to do that. So even if you guys as business owners, even if you did have all that you needed without needing brick and mortar and without needing flesh and bone to carry out these jobs, when things aren't that expensive, you can be philanthropic with the way that you run your business if you're financially allowed to and it's financially viable. You can say, no, let us hire these people and give jobs and stuff like that. But now these policies are saying no.
Yeah.
You can't.
And the only companies that can survive are, like you said, the ones with, I was just at Walmart and I think Costco. I mean, I don't know. If
All the places that remained open and during COVID.
Yeah. So Walmart has their Walmart Plus app, where basically you're shopping, right? So you shop, you scan the barcode, you scan the barcode on your phone. You can have it shipped straight to your house, or you can just scan the barcode, put it in your cart, and then scan a barcode at the register and walk out, and it'll charge a card that's saved to the app. Dang. So you're shopping.
You're cashier.
You're the cashier, and you have to pay for that. You have to pay for Walmart Plus. It's not free. It's like $99.
Really?
What?
$99 a year. So
you're paying for self-service?
Right.
That's insane.
I hope
you're getting $100 subscription.
That's right.
I hope she's listening to this episode. But we have a friend in North Carolina named Novella, and she says that whenever she's in a grocery store or even at Walmart or a Target or something like that, she goes to a person to check out. Me too. And then people will direct her. They'll direct her to a self-checkout, and she'll say, no, thank you. I don't work here.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm like, I don't work here. I'm not doing all that scanning.
Yeah.
I'll break out into a hot flash. No, I'm not doing that. How about
no, you go.
I was at BJ's and there's a robot that takes the inventory. Wow. He rides up and down the aisle, stops, scans the bay, and it just keeps going, turns, scans. And I saw an employee. I was like, what is this thing following me? He was like, oh, his name is Teddy or something. He's taking inventory.
Oh boy, that's where we are.
Yeah.
So they're literally, I don't know if the name is Teddy, but Teddy, the robot, has cameras on his right side, his left, front and back, and it can turn and it can literally do a piece count in real time. And that's what it does all day, up and down all the aisles.
Yeah.
A person used to do that.
Yeah. And so we're going to be in a society. We're already in that society now, but you're going to need some good foundational skills, just skills that can help you to create something that can appease a need for people. Basic skills that a lot of people aren't going to have in certain communities because they have bought into the lie that they're incapable of possessing those skills because someone has prevented them from having those skills. And then two, they've felt, while they're skillless, entitled enough to demand more money. Wow, did that happen? How did that happen? But here we are. And so if we're in a world where it's nothing but robots, I think that's still
a robot could easily kill Papa John's.
Really?
A robot could do that?
Yeah.
If somebody could easily program a robot to make dough and put toppings on pizza and put it in the oven and pull it back out and put it in a box.
Yeah, true.
Easily.
It's true.
Well, then at that point, who's going to deliver it? The robot?
Yeah.
A Tesla?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, self-driving Tesla.
No, you might be right.
But I mean, I still think that even right now in our very automated society, we're starting to see certain trades that are very valuable, like plumbing, right?
And electricians,
even mechanics. While these cars still exist, but not everybody wants to drive a fully electric car. I don't. I want you controlling my whip. So So mechanics. But they're, people are building cars in a proprietary way where, say my Honda, if my Honda breaks down, I can't just pop the hood and work with it like I would with my old cars when I was in high school and college. You got to take it to the Honda place because they could put all these special things in there.
Right. You can't even get to the headlight anymore.
You can't get to
Everything's proprietary.
And so it's very valuable if you have skills and techniques to be able to maneuver and do those things. And so instead of seeing yourself as a worker bee who needs a handout, you need to just work hard. I'm not going to say a lot about that because I want you to end with that, April. If you had to speak to the next generation of business owners or people who want to work hard at something, what would that advice be?
I would tell anybody to remember that you get paid based on the value that you either add to an organization or add to the marketplace. And so they have to change their mindset. If they're thinking, well, I deserve six figures, well, on the basis of what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to earn six figures, you're going to have to figure out a way to, how can I add value to this marketplace to substantiate that six figure? And if you don't see that there's an industry or a job that can afford you the opportunity to do that based on your skill set, then you're going to have to be innovative and create your own product or service and start that way. I mean, my husband and I, we didn't reinvent the wheel. What we did was we just were innovative with a service. People were legitimately buying things off of Craigslist, buying things off of OfferUp, buying things from the Marshalls that were oversized, and they didn't have a truck. Junebug wasn't available. They needed someone that they can book on their phone. Like, can you come and pick this up? And how much is it going to cost? Oh, and then when it gets there, can you put it together for me? Oh, and by the way, can you take the old widget out for me?
Ooh.
Now that I've got the new widget? That's how we started the furniture industry, our furniture store. In the process of delivering the purchases from these stores, we were in these affluent neighborhoods and they were like, oh, can you take this sectional? And we're like, that sectional? And they're like, yeah. And my husband was looking at it like, there's nothing wrong with it. And they're like, yeah, but I just don't like it anymore. So in a recession, when people were losing their homes or starting over and couldn't afford furniture, my husband was able to take that furniture, refurbish it, and then flip it. And we just started acquiring all this furniture. And then eventually we sold that for a few years and then migrated into getting accounts with suppliers and then going full retail. But it was just innovation. We had to pivot from the delivery. We saw that there was another business inside the business that we were already operating. And so, but yeah, that's what I would tell them. Be valuable. Do something, take a skill or some knowledge that you have and figure out a way to monetize it. But you're going to have to monetize it in a way that you're not like everybody else. What makes you different?
Right.
And just be innovative.
That's important.
Yeah, that is important.
And just a small word of encouragement. It won't be that hard to be different these days.
Oh,
it's
true.
Really not.
A lot, especially like a younger generation.
Yeah.
All you have to do is have good work ethic.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Just show up on time.
That's it. Good work ethic and know how to communicate.
I used to get teased.
Right.
I showed up to Marshall's in the beginning of that job with a shirt and tie. I did.
Really?
Oh yeah, shirt and tie. I used to get teased.
For like, a shirt and a tie?
You taking this a little bit serious. I'm thinking,
it's my job.
Yeah, it's retail. I mean,
you were also coming from Macy's too, right?
No, I went from Marshall's to Macy's.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was an upgrade.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Macy's didn't play that. You couldn't just show up looking like idiot.
No. You had to, you had to wear a shirt and tie at Macy's. But yeah,
right.
We appreciate April. We're so glad to be able to chop it up with you and appreciate you. But I think because of your podcast, we're probably going to end up doing a little bit more episodes together.
Of course. Well, you know how to find me. It's the Standard of Truth podcast.
Know how to find you.
Right. So it's the Standard of Truth podcast on YouTube. Unfortunately, I can't get into the audio only. So if you like an interactive, fun, you're a visual person and you love video podcasts, my podcast is perfect for you. I talk about all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. So I'm a wife and I'm a mom and I'm silly. So I'm liable to say all manner of crazy stuff, but I do it for the glory of God and for everyone else's good. So
amen. Well, guys, go find her on YouTube now. Go subscribe, go like and comment on her videos. Like we said about ours, it's like that's an aspect of joining us in that fight. Just help the algorithm. Help the algorithm out and like videos, comment, share it, share those things, share her videos, subscribe. You got a subscriber in us, April. We appreciate you coming on to this episode, and we're looking forward to having more episodes together to talk about some things that's happening in the world. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world.
Awesome. Well, grace and peace to you guys.
Yeah, same to you guys, and prayers for you and your husband and your business.
Yeah.
Thank you.